Hey folks, today I'm going to swap out my black seat belts for these seat belts out of a GP Paceman that I was able to get pretty cheap, just as something different to have in the car. There's a few things to point out. Here's a seat belt pack that's in the car, and this is for the Countryman. Now you'll see the top is an open connector. There it is there. The one that I got has something plugged in it. I mean, I have something plugged in here from the car, from the harness, and then there's also something else that's plugged in over here from the harness as well. So on this one, it looks like the Paceman has some other type of connector that connects from here to here and to this part. So you have to remove this piece here, and this piece, and then the seatbelt system is just like the one that's already on the Countryman. And your harness that normally plugged into here will be able to plug into this one and be able to plug into this one over here. I'll go over how to remove those parts in a little bit. That's what the seatbelt will look like. However, to be able to swivel this like this and have this piece press all the way back and be able to fully get inserted back to where it has to go, and the little push pins that go here to be able to go back in there, you'll have to modify this piece quite a bit. Now it looks like I haven't done anything to it, but I have done quite a lot. I actually ground down the inside of this in order to let this metal piece swivel, and I'll show you why. On the red seat belts has this part, which is quite a bit bigger than mine. Even though it has a split here, which I think someone cut that in order to get the seatbelt out. I'm not sure, but I'm not seeing it here. Mine does not have that. But the distance here, the space here, this is a lot smaller than this. So instead of modifying this, I found it pretty easy to modify this part right here. And I'll show you what the back side of this has a lip, that if you remove the lip on the inside, you'll be able to get it to swivel just like the one that's already in your car. Now this is just a vanity thing. I just wanted red seat belts, why not? And it takes a little bit of work to get it done, but I don't know, I thought it was worth it. First thing up, you got to take off the seats. You got to remove the seats, 4 bolts. They're Torx 40s. To remove the seats, slide it back, take the 2 ones off in the front, slide it forward, take the 2 ones off in the back, and just lift up the seat and move it to the front. You're not going to have to completely unplug the seat. I already unplugged the battery on the car, and let's get to it. I'm just going to slide the seat forward. Oh, there's a quarter. There you go, I'm getting paid for work. I'm going to remove this piece first, and then start taking off these panels. Now this comes out. This spacer goes in here. And the bolt goes through the seatbelt and through the spacer into the captive nut in the body of the car. The seatbelt, if you're watching, the fold and sewn part is on the back. So it goes down smooth, goes around the piece here, and screws it in the back. That's the same way that the other seatbelt's going to go through. The next step is going to be removing this trim piece. It goes from here to here. Now, first you just grab the seal. You're going to take the top portion off because you're going to be removing this piece and you're going to be removing this piece. So right up to about here is all right. So now you're just going to grab on both sides and pull out. Now what might happen is one of two things. You might end up with one of these on here and one of these not. So just grab your pry tool and pull that out. Here's my pry tool. Now you gotta get all the way behind it because there's nothing, as you can see on this hole, there's nothing behind it. So you gotta get all the way behind the last layer of it. Here, let me put this over here so you can see. I'm gonna use a metal pry bar that I have. Always good to have a metal one and a plastic one. That way, if you need to get behind something, there you go. Then I can put the plastic one in to finish the job. Let's put it back in the panel. So now it's ready to go back on. Okay, panel's ready to go. You can clean it outside if you want. Hand it to a friend, family member to help you clean it out. I was like, oh, there's a lot of dust in there. Wow. All right, set that aside. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna be removing this top piece. Now don't pull from up here. It actually slides down. I made the mistake of pulling from up here once and I creased this little edge on the other side of my car. I live with it, but I know it's there. So these two get popped off. These have center pins and then the outside. So use your plastic pry. Get it in there. And this one's a little bit too wide. Let me see if I have one that has a smaller opening. Oh, but it doesn't fit there. Ah, time for the metal one. There you go. Gently pull that pin out on both sides. And go ahead and pull the pin out completely. This looks like that. And you got it. Just set it aside. Once these pins are out, then you can pull on the bottom out. It's going to pull the rest of the retaining clip out. Be careful, they might fly away. And you see up here, it slides in there. Just pay attention how it comes out. That's how I have to go back in. Okay. So here is where it slides in. It slides into these two pins. Now, I'll talk to you about what has to be ground down on this side in just a bit. Got to take off this top one. That's also a T50. Now the other seatbelt that I got has this bolt, so I'm not worried about having to take this one off. You do have to take off this piece, and that is, let me see what size that was. T25. Now you only got to take out one of them. And then grab this one, slide it out, and there it is. I put the bolt back in here for right now because we're going to be working on some other stuff for a bit. This bottom piece here also has another one of those little push pin retainers. I used the my metal pry to pull the center pin off, set it aside, and the plastic one to pull the whole thing off. And pull that retainer out of there because you're going to lose it. Alright, so now this bottom piece has two retainers that go in, the white ones, like on this panel here. So one of them might pop off of the back of the panel. Make sure you put it back into the panel or else you won't be able to put it back in properly. Yeah. Like I warned you, one of these panels pieces came off. So I'm just going to slide it back into the panel. Actually, first I'm going to pull it off the other side. There we go. This is pretty much all we need for this part. I used a 3/8 extension on the, a 6-inch extension with a T50 at the end, on the end of the 3/8 inch ratchet. And I slid it under here, and it was able to go around there, and I removed this bolt, which is the other bolt. Is loose, or we can finagle it and move it around. Now, here's the top connector. Let me show you how to take that off. See how it has this top piece right here? This top connector has to be lifted off from both sides. Once it lifts up, the connector pops off. There we go, now it's fully popped out. Since this black piece here is popped out, the entire thing can just be popped out nice and easily. Not so with the other piece. So I pulled that out. That one's free. That's the green connector on the bottom. Now I gotta do the same thing. This black connector on top. There you go. That one popped out really nicely. I was able to disconnect it. There's the connector all intact, and your seatbelt free. Now, in order for you to get the other seatbelt ready, by the way, folks, this one was taken out of the driver's side, which is the left side. Make sure you can read. It says L, US, left, US. You have to match the seatbelt with that side. And here's the other one, L, US, LUS. Now, the only difference between this seatbelt and this seatbelt now is this cable that you have to pull off. And then you're gonna pull this cable retainer out of here. This comes off. So now you got the cable. It goes to this side, the green connector, and the black connector on the other side. Now, I'm going to try to show you how I pulled that off. That could not for the life of me. I tried pinching the sides to see if it would release, and even after I was able to rip it off, I couldn't find out exactly how. Oh, well, that was a lot easier than last time. And let me put that back there. All right, on these, just one of your pries goes underneath it and pull it out. Turn the system around. Go in from underneath. And that's it. You end up with this little harness. But now this piece is just like your other one. I will remove this piece just so that I don't like extra stuff in the car for no reason. So this piece comes off, and it comes off with a pair of pliers. And you can tell there's different cars that need this little piece or those wires to be held in, because even mine have the metal bracket that holds this plastic piece in place. See the metal bracket right there? So we're good there. Now the connectors are just like the ones on my regular ones. I'm gonna leave this piece here. I think there's more cable, I think, because the basements have 2 doors and the seat belts are a little longer. So I guess this is a retainer so that it doesn't unspool. And it has this little felt here just in case it touches the metal on the inside of the B pillar. But all right, let's put this back. There. Now it's time to put this in. Now these seat belts, they have to be perfectly straight in order for these things to extend. So I'm going to pull a little bit of it out. I have some room to play with there. And now, in order to plug it in, remember you have to plug them in where they went. We have the black one. Alright, plug this black piece in, and the top presses in. Don't forget to do that. And then this piece plugs in at the bottom. I'll show you that. Alright, and pressed in so it's locked. And then go ahead and slide that in there. Bottom first, or else you'll never get it in. Alright. And now you have to lift it up and slide that edge, that guide, into the slot. Oh, that's in. Let's go ahead and place this retaining bolt for the mechanism in. Just finger tight for a minute. I like to wiggle things and try to get the bolts hand tight as far as possible. It saves me a lot of time, especially if I don't have power tools. Slide this connector over here. And just torque that down. And that one, you can torque this one down already. Alright, and just to start getting stuff out of the way, go ahead and slide this behind here. This is the T25. Oh. T25. That's on there. This piece goes up here. And remember what I told you, that we have to make some modifications to this piece, because let me see if I can show you. When this piece sits in the groove right there, it's in a way to where these holes here will not align with these holes right here. Sorry, with these top ones right here where they go. So you have to do some modifications, and I'll show you exactly what that is in just a minute. But alright, so this is ready, but the top piece has to go in first. That's the next piece to go in. Safety first. Here's the panel. Now, what has to be removed is this entire lip. See how this lip protrudes? So, what I do is I grab a Sharpie and I just draw it out. And it has to go right to the top of this bend, right around here. Now I have to take all that off. And here we go. Every once in a while, take your time. Don't just kind of grind until you can't grind anymore. And cut off the excess. It's starting to come out. It's starting to look good. See, that part's all the way down as far as we want to go. So we'll start working on this side here, and we'll take another break and cut off some of the slack or the slag. We'll keep working. pretty good all the way around here. I think, all right, still need a little bit more here. Just mark the areas that you still need to work on. That way you can just make the Sharpie marks disappear. Okay, I'm good here, but I still need a little bit right here. And I still need to bring this whole edge down here. Okay. But we're getting close. We're almost done with this, and then the final sanding, you'll see that it comes out perfect. Like nobody can tell the difference that anything was done. All right. Alright, so let's sand this down. I'm using whatever I had left over from other jobs. Here's a little piece from a little hand sander that I have. That bottom part's done. Swivel. I love it. I'm gonna put the tips back in there. Little pins that go in there. Ah, there we go. Make sure they're pressed in there good. And they are. And now we can secure the bottom piece. This piece goes in to here, to here. Very nice. Now this part goes back in. Piece back in. All right, and there we go. Just gotta wipe everything down, make it all clean, clean up the area, vacuum again, and we're all set. Thumbs up if you liked it. Like I said, it's just a vanity thing. They were pretty inexpensive. I had to do a little work with that wiring, but oh well. You know, the first harness had to be like basically ripped out of there. I don't know why it wasn't coming out. And both of them were ripped out. But it works great, works fine. No lights up on the dash or anything. Everything works perfect. All right, see you in the next one. I'm gonna try to install John Cooper Works turbo myself. That entails changing out the turbo return line and while I'm at it. Some gaskets and stuff, oil change. Quite the job. I don't really want to do it, but I might.